Zoo Wee Mama. I'm here today to give you a first look at the August 2024 season of Marvel Snap. We know the cards and their current abilities through the data mines. Okay, so this is a very early look. These cards could change, their stats could change, their abilities could change a bit, but we're going to run through them and see what this season is shaping up to look like. And there's some nice new themes in here as well, so that's going to be pretty interesting to talk about. We're not going to go too in depth, just cover each card, its ability, and if I think it's going to change a lot by the time it gets released, if it's broken or something, or if I think it'll be pretty much the same. So let's go ahead and get started with the season pass card, Kate Bishop. So Kate Bishop might be the most interesting card of the season because she's a 2-cost, 3-power card with the on reveal ability to add 2 arrows to your hand. Let's take a look at what that means. So we've actually got 4 arrows to choose from. Okay, so when you play Kate Bishop, she's only going to give you 2 of them, but there are 4 total. So you may not get the same ones every time, and that might be a bit of a bad thing. It's not like Nico where it's guaranteed to just cycle through all the spells, right? And they're going to your hand, kind of like when you play Snow Guard. She adds the bear and the hawk to your hand. Bringing in 2 of these, okay? So first up, we have the Acid Arrow, which is 1 cost, minus 2 power, with the on reveal ability to switch sides, okay? It's basically like a little mini Green Goblin, okay? Little clog card, annoy your opponent. Now, all of the arrows are 1-cost cards, so you do have to pay their energy, and they could obviously die to Killmonger, but also get buffed up by like Khazar, okay? Next up, we are looking at the Grapple Arrow, which has 3 power, and it has the on reveal ability. After you play your next card, move that card to this location, the location the Grapple Arrow is at. So it's kind of like a reverse Ghost Spider, right? You play a card, next turn or next you play Ghost Spider, and Ghost Spider moves the card you previously played. Grapple Arrow is going to move the card you play next to its location. So a little bit of tech there, similar to Acid Arrow. It's kind of like this nice little tech interaction that could come in handy when needed. Basic Arrow is on reveal. If you play a card at this location next turn, it gets plus 3 power. This is Hawkeye, okay? And it's fitting, right? You look at Kate Bishop, it's Kate Bishop Hawkeye. So Kate Bishop creates her own Hawkeye card, essentially, okay? It goes to a 1/4, but it's the same kind of thing, and that's just good, a 1/4. And then we've got the Pym Arrow, which is very similar to Ant-Man, and it's ongoing if your side of this location is full, plus 3 power. Okay, that's just like Ant-Man. Ant-Man gets plus 4 power, so he goes up to 5. But we can see here, 2 of these are focused on power, the Basic Arrow and the Pym Arrow. But then the Acid Arrow is a bit of tech, the Grapple Arrow is a bit of tech. But they're just decent power overall, although you do have to play them. Okay, but I think this is an interesting card. A bit inconsistent, right? Nico, you can be patient and wait for it to cycle through, like I mentioned. But for a season pass card here, I think it looks fairly balanced. The abilities aren't too crazy. They're not as crazy or as powerful as Nico's ability. And you have to pay for them separately. You first have to play Kate Bishop. If you play her in turn 6, she's not helping you. So she kind of seems like a bit of a worst Nico, okay? But she's adding cards to your hand. That does help out Loki. That does help out Collector. So there are some synergies there. But overall, I think it looks like a good season pass card. She looks interesting. We'll see if they change the stats of her or any of these arrows. But I think it looks fine. I don't think it looks overpowered or underpowered. I think it looks kind of nice. Just a nice card that you'll play in, a couple different archetypes maybe, but provides just, some tech and flexibility. Coming out the first week of the season is going to be Marvel Boy, a 3-cost, 3-powered card with the absolutely busted ability that is just current data mine, but it looks busted right now. After each turn, give 3 of your 1-cost cards plus 2 power each. So as it's currently showing, which I don't think it's going to end up this way. It literally can't, okay? As it's currently showing, you could play Squirrel Girl on turn 1 or 2, and that adds 3 1-cost cards to your board, right? You've got Squirrel Girl herself and 2 squirrels. So then you play Marvel Boy in turn 3. At the end of turn 3, the turn you played him, he would give +2 power to Squirrel Girl and each of the tokens. That's +6 a turn. That means at the end of turn 3, he would be a 3-9. At the end of turn 4, it's a 3-15, and then 3-21, and then he ends the game as a 3-27. They're not going to release a 3-27. Okay, so this is why the early data mines, right, these very, very early looks can sometimes have crazy stuff like this. You know, once we're 1, maybe 2 weeks out from the seasons, cards are going to look mostly finalized. It'll be like 80%, 80 to 90, right? You'll see some small stat changes here and there. But I think this one gets changed a lot. I think they keep the theme. You could do +1 power. That still might be too high. Maybe Marvel Boy needs to be a 4-cost card. Maybe they reduce the number of 1-cost cards he's hitting, right? Maybe it's only giving it to 2 of them, and he needs to be more expensive. Okay, you can't have a 3-27, right? So I don't know what he's going to end up looking like. I think Marvel Boy is probably going to change the most out of all these early data mine cards. But let's go ahead and check out the Spotlight Week that is currently data mined. So Marvel Boy seems to be coming to Spotlights on August 16th alongside Blob and Red Hulk. Big, big boys, okay? First of all, the variants here are awesome. Flaviano is my favorite artist in the game, and he's doing the Spotlight variants for all of the new cards, okay? So all of these new cards have amazing Spotlight variants. This one from Marvel Boy is no exception. I love his choice of colors. The Blob one's fine. The Red Hulk one is really cool. I mean, he's this big, you see the veins popping out, the vascularity, just looks like this big roided out Red Hulk, and he's got the fire coming off. Heck yeah, okay, this is a great set of variants, but they're all also just good cards to own. If you didn't get Red Hulk, this is probably going to be a really good time to get him. In the following week, we have Wiccan come into the game, a 4-cost, 5-powered card with the on reveal ability that if you've spent all of your energy so far this game, +2 max energy. Now, I actually added in this so far. If you look up the text online, snap.fan, you're not going to see this so far. But when I first read this card's ability, I was very confused. I thought it meant by like the end of the game, but it's so far. So if you'd spent all your energy on turns 1, 2, and 3, and then you play Wiccan on turn 4, it will give you +2 max energy that you can then start using on turn 5, okay? And so this looks really good at first, like, whoa, +2 max energy, right? Things out there only give +1, we're getting +2. Well, I don't think it's that good currently. Hope Summers, first of all, can give you +2. It's not permanent, but it can give you +2 for a turn if needed. And with Wiccan, if he's coming down on turn 4, I think it's too late, right? Because on turn 5, you only need 1 more energy to play a 6-cost card. If you played Corvus or Electro, on turn 5 you can play a 6-cost. So having 7 energy on turn 5 isn't much better than 6. So I actually think you want to ramp into Wiccan or, get a discount. I think you play something on turn 1, and you need to kind of have a lot of 1-cost cards in your deck. So it's not really built for the standard ramp style. You need 1-cost cards. You could just do like Quicksilver though if you wanted. And then on turn 2, you play Psylocke or Zabu. That means you're either going to have 4 energy on turn 3, or Wiccan's going to be discounted to cost 3 if you played Zabu on turn 2. Okay, yes, the return of Zabu. So if you get Wiccan out on turn 3, now it's good. Because turn 4, you can play a 6-cost card. Turn 5, you can play a 6, you float 1 energy maybe. And then on turn 6, you can play a 6 and a 2, right? Red Hulk and a Jeff or whatever. So Wiccan looks okay, decent stats. If you don't ramp Wiccan out, I think it's a miss. So far, I don't have high hopes for this card. I wouldn't be surprised if they increase its power. I don't think they lower its cost. I think they may just increase its power. Maybe Wiccan ends as like a 4-6 or 4-7, but we'll have to see. So looking at the Spotlight caches, August 13th to 20th, we've got Wiccan, awesome Flaviano variant again, alongside Loki and Pixie. The Loki variant's, it's okay to me. The Pixie variant I think is really cool, and Pixie doesn't have many variants in the game. So if I open that one, I'm not going to be too disappointed. Okay, I really like that one. Good chance to get Loki if you don't already have him. Great card to own in terms of being competitive in Snap. Like Loki's always good. Loki decks hard counter some other decks. And then Pixie, has made a bit of a resurgence recently, and she's kind of decent, right? She's not a bad card. She's definitely playable. So all these cards might be playable. We're just going to see how Wiccan performs. In the following week, we have Speed, a 3-cost, 3-powered card with the ongoing ability plus 1 power for each turn in which you spent all your energy. Okay, and what's interesting here, Wiccan was an on reveal, so you just had to spend all your energy on turns previous to playing Wiccan, right? On turns like 1, 2, and 3, you'd have to spend everything. Speed is ongoing, okay? You could play Speed on turn 6. Now, this whole theme, making all your energy spent, right? Using it all up, having like a perfect curve every game. Again, it's going to be difficult, but if you can start with a 1-drop, if you have a lot of 1-cost in your deck, you're going to be good. So that's why these cards are themed around that. And so, this looks okay. I mean, even if you play Speed on turn 6 and you had a perfect curve, your curve was awesome. You played a 1-cost card on 1, a 2 on 2, 3 on 3, right? You filled out every curve. Well, he's a 3/9 if you drop him on turn 6, right? If you get to turn 7, then he'll be 3/10, but if you get to turn 6, it's just plus 6 power. A 3/9 sounds big, it sounds nice, but any energy you miss, right? You missed a draw, and so now he also gets less power. So it's kind of like if your game went perfect, he's good. But if your game went perfect, you're probably already ahead and looking good. If your game didn't go too well, isn't going too well, you're missing some draws, you're missing some energy curves, then it becomes worse. And that's when you would need a better card, right? When the rest of your cards aren't coming together, you want a really good card. So he's kind of win more is what I'm trying to say, I guess. He's kind of a win more card. If your game's not going well, he's even worse. So he looks okay. Maybe they buff him to like a 3/4 or something, because I think you are just going to miss some energy. It's going to be hard to just spend all of it every single turn, especially if you don't draw well right on turn 1. So I wouldn't be surprised if, he just starts up a little bit higher or something. Speed is coming to Spotlights on August 20th alongside Jeff and Ireland. And take a look at these variants. I mean, my goodness, these are beautiful. First of all, Flaviano Speed. I told you I love Flaviano. This is one of his best ones, okay? This Speed is amazing. Great colors, great sense of just, speed running. It looks like he's just kind of flying up, speed of light. Great motion there. The Jeff variant is awesome. I believe this is the Max Grek Jeff. Really good there. And then we've got Iron Lad with a little Jeff floating around. Okay, Jeff with Iron Lad armor. I mean, this is crazy. Or I guess it's Mecha Jeff. So amazing variants here, and just a good spotlight cash. Jeff, S tier for your collection. If you don't own Jeff, pick him up any chance you can get. Iron Lad is also pretty good for your collection. He's very flexible. Put him in a ton of decks. Okay, so this is shaping up to be possibly the best spotlight cash week of the season. And the last card coming to the August season is Hulkling, who is a 6-cost, 11-powered card that at the start of the game will copy the text of a random 6-cost card. Now, this is very interesting, okay? I have a big question. That question is, does your opponent know? Right? When you power up Red Hulk, your opponent sees Red Hulk powering up. I'm going to assume with Hulkling, your opponent doesn't know the random card it copies. This looks good. If your opponent doesn't know, this might be the best, strongest card of the season, because at the start of the game, you got the 6/11, and you're going to know right away, right? You're going to know you have a 6/11 Galactus, or you have a 6/11 Alioth even, right? Just giving a couple more points of power or something. 6/11 Leader. I mean, oh my goodness. There are some low power 6-cost cards that have really strong abilities. Okay, I think maybe the only bad one is Destroyer. So maybe you play Hulkling alongside a Cosmo. Okay, Giganto is also kind of bad. And Infinite. Okay, there's a couple misses. But when you get something good, it's a game winner. Okay? And it changes every time. It changes every game. This card looks amazing for Conquest mode. Your opponent doesn't know what to play around because you're going to have some crazy effect, right? 11-powered Arnim Zola, 11-powered Galactus. I mean, there's just going to be some nuts stuff going on. So I think they probably keep Hulkling's stats as is. I wouldn't be surprised. They seem to like making 6-cost cards just abnormally strong now. But I wouldn't be surprised if they lowered a bit. He seems really good to me. In my opinion, having that random card, especially if only you know and your opponent doesn't, that's a lot of information, and this card's going to be good. So Hulkling will be available in Spotlight caches from August 27th to September 3rd, alongside Cannonball and Nimrod. Now, to look at these variants, we still got the Flaviano Hulkling. It's fine. It's good. It's not as crazy as the other ones, especially the speed one. Man, that one's great. The Cannonball variant is fine. He does already have some other variants in the game that are pretty good. And so while this one's good, it's not my favorite of his. And Nimrod's same kind of thing. I actually like this Nimrod variant, but Nimrod has some good variants. In terms of the strength of cards, I think Hulkling's going to be really strong. Cannonball right now is really strong, but August is a little bit away. Wouldn't be too surprised if Cannonball gets a nerf, or at least the decks that Cannonball is best in get some nerfs by the time this Spotlight comes around. Okay, so we'll have to see where Cannonball is then. Nimrod, pretty niche. If you're not playing Shuri Nimrod Destroy, then you have no use for Nimrod. Okay, then you're just not playing Nimrod. So not the most powerful Spotlight cache, but it might just be for Hulkling and Cannonball, right? If Cannonball's still good and Hulkling's as good as he looks to me right now, then this might just be a, for sure open or bye week. So that is the early data mine of this August 2024 season that we have coming. Again, Kate Bishop, season pass card, I think is probably the most interesting and probably the most flexible card out of all of them. Maybe Hulkling's more flexible. But, it's one of those two, and Kate's just interesting. It's going to see cycling through the spells, but I don't think it's overpowered because you're only getting 2 arrows each time. Marvel Boy currently looks insanely OP, and I think there's like a 1% chance he remains as is. Okay, he's going to see big change. In my opinion, he's going to change the most out of all these cards. Then we've got Wiccan, who I think looks a bit too weak. You kind of need to ramp out or it's just not worth it. So do they change Wiccan to like a 4/6? We'll have to see. But if not, I could see Wiccan being the weakest card of the season. We've got Speed, who's okay. It's just a 3/9. But again, kind of a win more. When it's a 3/9, you're already winning. If you're not winning, it's going to be less than a 3/9. But even a 3/7 is probably still fine. So I could see Speed staying as is. Same with Kate Bishop. And then Hulkling looks really good. Okay, Hulkling just looks like a strong card. And not only is he strong, but he looks pretty flexible. Okay, almost like a Red Hulk, right? In fact, he could copy Red Hulk's ability and then he's just +2 power more. That's just OG Red Hulk on release where he's super OP and busted. So we'll see how insane Hulkling is and if they change him at all before release. So let me know what you guys think of the cards this season. Which ones you think have to change the most because they seem overpowered or underpowered? Which of these cards you are most excited for? Let me know in the comments down below. And until then, stay positive. I'll see you next time.